What? Hello? There we go. It looks like we're live? No? Here, going live. Here we go. Hey, everyone. Joe and Mike here from Build Assets Online. It seems like we're live now.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked this time. I think we're
Wait,
on.
wait, 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 wait. I'm getting an ad. All right, good. We're making money.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. We're live. Here we are. Today we're going to be discussing the top 10 best high-ticket dropshipping products in the kitchen niche. Now, if you've been listening to us for any period of time, you might know that Mike and I don't like making videos like this. We prefer that you learn how to find the stuff yourself so you can continually find it. But this is what the people want. And we decided that you're the people. We're going to give you what you want.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I have fun doing these videos, but like you said, Joe, we prefer to teach the way for you to fish rather than just show you some fish and say, hey, look at these.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess, let's just get started right away. It seems like we have some viewers.
My girlfriend's laughing in the back. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. We're all having a good time here on the Build Assets Online live stream. We had some viewers fall off, and now they came back on. That's a big water bottle you got there, Mike.
Yeah, I'm like in the middle of Acadia National Park, and there's like nothing. This cabin I'm in doesn't even have lights,
Really?
so you got to get it by the gallon. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Well, it's good to see that
What part? What part of your question?
No, I'm saying it's good to see that you're staying hydrated. But
Oh
right.
yeah, absolutely.
Let's resume with the
Top
products.
priority.
Let's resume with the products. So,
You got the deck.
I got the deck ready. We're in the kitchen now. So, we've got the first thing that I picked was ranges, like for your stoves. And as you can see by the screenshot, there are many expensive, super expensive ranges that you could be selling, and probably something that's often overlooked because not every house has a kitchen range. And by the way, if you're listening on the podcast, we're looking at kitchen range prices that are, $2,000 to $3,000, or another word for these are like vent hoods or whatever. So the reason why a lot of people overlook these is because when you say, "Hey, we're gonna drop ship expensive stuff," what a lot of people do is they look around and they say, "Hey, what's around me that's expensive?" And they see the most obvious things. But not only does not everyone have a range hood, but oftentimes they are overlooked when you're even looking around. Like I happen to have one because it came with my house, but I don't even see it half the time. I don't even notice it's there. So, yeah, I think if you're
And
no, go ahead.
if you recall from some of our other videos, how we mention, a lot of times, if you acquire a supplier, they may have product types you didn't know about. And there was a time, Joe, we acquired a supplier for a totally different store that also happened to sell these products. And we never got around to listing these and selling these because we were in a totally different niche. And they just, they sent us prices like, hey, we sell range hoods too. So it just goes to show that it does really happen. Like these random things, you find them just by going on different websites or just actually getting out there and acquiring suppliers.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many different types of range hoods. I mean, there's so many different types of probably dimensions and fits that it has to be, different types of exhaust. I'm no handyman, but it just seems like the perfect candidate where you can just put the customer just right in the right place for what they're looking for. So
specific measurements, things got to be a certain way.
yeah. So range hoods, go pick it up. By the way, if you're in the chat, be sure to leave some questions, and we'll get to them later. So range hoods number one. If I can get my screen back, let's go to number two. Number two, Cooktops. Now I don't know if you've ever you ever actually seen these, Mike? Because I mean, anywhere you lived, it always has gas. But
What you're trying to say?
I'm just saying, you've only lived places with gas cooktops, gas stoves. But there are different types. There's induction, there's electric, and they're flat and they go right on the stove. And they're expensive. A lot of the high end ones are expensive, and they come in many different varieties.
Well, for those who are watching visually, I want to point out something that does go against things that we say are no-nos. So that Samsung product right there,
Yes,
you should not go and call Samsung.
yes. That is
First of all, you're never going to get in with them. You may get in with the distributor of Samsung, but their margins are going to be garbage. And how many stores are selling that Samsung induction cooktop, Joe?
50 plus. And yes, I did put it on there on purpose to show the difference between high competition and low competition.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then you have that Elica right below it. That I don't. Do you know Elica?
No, not particularly, but it looks like a pretty cool range hood.
And what I like is they have the model number literally in the product title. I want to give that a quick search. ENT432BL. I doubt it'll have search volume, but I mean, this product definitely has map. Everyone is selling it for basically the same price. Oh, it does. This product actually has the SKU number has search volume.
Really?
So you can literally go make a text ad. Yeah. You can go make a text ad for this. Just this SKU, phrase match. And if someone is searching that's like one of the best searches you could ever get.
Are we giving away too much here?
So, yeah, let's shut down the stream, I think.
All right. Abort. Hit the eject button. I'm about to fly out the top of the plane. All right. All right. Here we go. So there you go. Number 2, cooktop. So many different kinds. You're seeing search volume for model numbers. Crazy. All right. So now, Mike and I, we always talk about kitchen islands as an example here on the channel. So for this third product, we have sort of kitchen islands, but a bit specialty, kind of specialty kitchen islands. We have mobile kitchen countertops. So these are like prep stations. You can wheel them around your house. So you want to chop some onions in a certain area, wheel it back to the stove, so you're not spilling onions everywhere when you're making a stew or something.
Look at that one with the friggin' chef, the creation station. I guess that one, it looks like it has a cooktop actually on it.
Yeah. So describe it for those who are listening on the show, on the podcast.
It kind of looks like those like omelet bars when you're at a hotel, but it's portable and there's like a little fridge under it, but the top is like an induction stovetop. So it's actually selling for $9,600 on Webstaurant. And yeah, that's really all I can tell about it.
Yeah, honestly, it looks really cool.
I do a quick search of that.
Looks really cool. I mean, some of the other ones look really cool as well. Just looking at the one in the top left, the Link Serve and Prep countertop, the mobile kitchen. You have, you got drawers, you got storage, and then the countertop right there. And one of the things about kitchens,
Yeah, I think this would be considered a cooking cart.
really interesting.
Yeah, I have to dive deeper and actually look at this, but I think that would be like the technical product name for it.
Cool. One of the things about like being in the kitchen
is my internet okay?
It's not bad. There's a little delay on my end, but we're making it work here.
Okay, because you're responding like a weatherman or something. You're waiting like 3 seconds and then you're talking like someone out in the field.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, there's it's just delay. You sound fine though. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, no, this would definitely for someone that has a huge kitchen, and personally, my kitchen isn't like that big or anything, but I've stayed in some like super rich people's houses, and their kitchens are massive. Like it's like you're really getting some steps in moving from like one part to the other. So, if you're a rich person hosting parties or whatever, this would definitely be something to have. And like we always say, like you always say that Dan Kennedy book, Marketing to the Affluent. That's really what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, this is definitely an affluent purchase. So
Yeah.
good one,
But the thing
good
is,
one, Joey.
be sure to stick with these expense. Like if you search for kitchen cart, you're gonna find all sorts of like $100. Like that's not what you want to go for. You want to sell an expensive kitchen cart. Look for the best of the best. All right, moving on. Number
Yeah.
5, we have dining room tables, but not just any dining room table. We have specifically marble dining room table. Now, why marble? Well,
Oh,
it's expensive, and if you have expensive taste, then you might like marble. And let me tell you this. Now, Mike and I, we're not Russian ourselves, but we grow up in a very like a Russian like a Russian area, and my best friends are like Russian, like their parents are from Russia, and they all seem to have this specific taste with the marble. Everything's marble. So, and a lot of them have money. That's the other thing is a lot of Russian people
that's
like
true.
they have expensive taste and they have the money to buy it. So, this is a good market.
Yeah, a whole you can have an entire store dedicated to Russian furniture.
I think that's a great niche actually. So I remember oh man, in my good friend's house, there was a clock. There was like a clock, and it was glass, but the clock was designed to be like warped. So it almost looked like you took like the Photoshop like liquefied to this clock, and it must have been like probably a pretty expensive clock. So no, I think you're right about like the high end like weird decor like stuff you might see in. So if you're like a regular like I don't know, it depends on where you live, but like I would say Mike and I are more like typical Americans, you could say. So when we would go in someone's house that was from a different country, they would all have like different types of decor. So that's definitely stuff to look into, because you're not going to go and find that at Bob's Discount Furniture. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. I think doing a whole store around that would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be pretty
But let's
funny.
move on.
Moving on. We got a deep fryer. Now, with
Oh,
with the global situation, uh, you know, everyone likes to get their deep fried stuff outside of their house, but why not deep fry in the house? Make some fries. You know what I'm saying? It's contactless con-
so
contactless cooking. So this could actually be B2B or
well, Joe, I
B2C.
may, I think at this price point, at the price point you'd have to do B2B because, I mean, I don't know if you could have one of these in your house. I mean, you could if you're like rich, I guess, and you're doing a custom kitchen, and you want to have a fryer, but I would imagine that most people would buy like a over the counter, like a countertop fryer instead of one of these that go directly into the wall. You know what I'm saying?
I think it could be B2B or B2C. I have been in wealthy people's houses where they do have a fryer actually. Um, interestingly, in my college,
Uh-huh.
there were fryers in some of the classrooms for like food stuff as well. So I guess that would be B2C, or sorry, B2B. But no, I think when you're designing a custom kitchen, a fryer is definitely on the table. But at the end of the day, who cares who you're selling it to? You know?
Well, if you're designing a custom kitchen, then it's totally on the table. Sometimes like companies like these won't do residential warranties, so they'll probably have either they'll only sell to commercial, and if you want to have it in your home, that's fine, but it voids the warranty, or they'll have like a separate home lineup. Not that this is still perfectly viable, but it just I'm just trying to shed a little bit of light on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a company like Miele. I don't even know how to say that name. Miele.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to sell them because they're. I don't know if you know them, Joe. They're like they make like vacuums and
Yeah,
stuff.
I know exactly. I know exactly.
That's a
who
big
they are.
company.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you can get in with one of these companies, this is. I mean, restaurants are still open, so I don't think any of that stuff is necessarily slowing down. If someone needs a fryer, they need a fryer.
Yeah, and to play off that a little bit, Mike, as we're in our current situation, even with restaurants maybe shuttering a little bit, I feel what we're going to see a big spike in the next few years is probably in food trucks. I mean, that was kind of already on the rise, and with food trucks, it's a lot of fried food for sure. And so, you don't necessarily have to or should go after one of these fryers that's on the screen, but I think fryers for food trucks is definitely a viable option and maybe even a whole niche in itself.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on. We have oh, I forgot what this was. Oh, kitchen sinks, but not just any kitchen sink. When you're looking at a kitchen sink, you can get a plain old kitchen sink, but then they have many different kinds, like multi compartments, different tiers. You can have racks in them. You can have gold kitchen sinks, really deep, deep kitchen sinks. Lots of different types of sinks that I think would be very, very interesting for a high end kitchen. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think this is one of those where, like, kitchen sink, that's obviously a huge, huge niche within itself. But because it's so huge, there's so many random retailers or random manufacturers that you can probably do a whole store just for kitchen sinks. Because also, you have Kohler. I see there's a Kohler one here, but like, I don't know what those other brands are on the bottom too. And if you're just listening, this one, like, one of them is just like a stone, almost couch shaped sink, and the other one is like a brass with a design on it. Really high end stuff, and so it's a huge pie, but you can go and find just random suppliers and be able to tap into that pretty easily. Versus, I don't know, maybe probably better than something like the convection range or induction hoods or induction ranges. Sorry, there's probably not a huge number of people selling those. With sinks, it's just a slab of porcelain or like a piece of material, so you're bound to find a lot of suppliers.
Yeah, for sure. And so there's a couple different things to talk about here that could be potentially good ideas. So, if you're going to have a site where you're just selling sinks, you may want to get with some plumbers or become part of like a lead gen program for plumbers. Integrate some lead gen onto there. Another thing we could talk about is a lot of these sinks have different styles. So Mike mentioned that big like slab, like brass looking sink. It kind of looks like a couch. Now, I don't know how you would describe that in like fashion terms. I don't know if it would be like shabby chic or like farmhouse or whatever. So, you can have a whole thing around like a different style, like shabby chic kitchen
Yeah,
sinks, something like that.
I just found someone doing just only sinks,
Really?
a dropshipping site doing only sinks. I mean, it's not something I would do. I think it'd be. I mean, you could tell they put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
They have blog posts and yeah, they went all out, and they're just doing sinks and some faucets and yeah. Yeah.
Well, it goes to show you, Mike. We always say that the niche doesn't matter; it's the execution. And if you want to sell sinks, there are plenty of ways you can go about selling sinks. You can have one site with all sinks where you got the blog post. You're just trying to you're just trying to perform on everything sinks. Period. You can get the other thing that I talked about where you go by like style or whatever. Then you can have a whole, there's so many different angles that you can sell a sink, but it's just going to depend on your execution.
I'm very intrigued by this site.
Well,
They're putting in a lot of effort into these sinks, but for the sake of not getting off track, we can move on.
we'll have a look at the site after in the Elite Fleet, which the price is going up, guys. Going up the end of this month. BuildAssetsOnline.com/membership if you want to be a part of where we discuss such things.
Yes.
All right. So number 7 on the list, we have a garbage disposal, like an under sink garbage disposal. And this can definitely be B2B or B2C because both businesses and homes use garbage disposals. And I think, they're pretty expensive no matter what. I had one in my old house and it was a real pain actually. You never know what's going on, but like to replace it was going to be a kind of a big deal is what I'm saying. So tons of opportunity to provide education. Like I said, maybe link up with plumbers for like extra lead gen and stuff like that. You can maybe even sell to contractors, which we've definitely done in the past with some of our older sites. So
listen, Joe, I don't want to go back to these sinks, but I just looked up this site in Ahrefs.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away. They're getting Ahrefs says they're doing like 20, or Ahrefs says 8,000 organic a month. So it's probably like 20. But
that's pretty good.
Well, this is something we will talk about. Yes, in the Elite Fleet, Joe. We will dissect this website. So
yeah,
it's members only content.
Cool. So
all right.
let's talk about these garbage disposals.
I think with these with the garbage disposals, these are good. I would consider this to be like more of an accessory product. Not accessory, but it's not like sinks. You're going to go in and build a whole store around it. There's not that many of these, just from my experience. But it's a popular item. Probably millions of businesses and homes need these. So not all of them are at this price point, but this is a huge market with actually very little competition. But I'm sure it's extremely hard to get in with some of these. But if you can get in with them, then boom, you're in. So like, I'm going to talk about the sink thing again. If I had this sink website, I would call these garbage disposal people and say, hey, I'm the number one sink guy in the US. So guess what? We need some of these garbage disposals. And I guarantee if you have a website like that, you can get in with some of these companies. And that's like our whole thing. That would be a perfect example of the type of thing that we do. We build up these websites, and then we can get into super competitive niches, or super high barrier to entry niches, because we have this big proof of concept already.
Yeah, for sure. And Mike, if you could get in with some of these the garbage disposal suppliers, I think it could be a website on its own. Now, it's not that we would develop we wouldn't direct one of our new students to go build a garbage disposal website like out of the gate. But I think someone with a little more experience that can pull off the SEO side of things, like the sink website that you're fapping over, I think the same concept can be pulled off with these garbage disposals, if you can get in with enough suppliers. And like you said, there's not much competition. I can imagine the SEO competition on a lot of garbage disposal keywords is very, very abysmally low.
Yeah, but it's a riskier thing to attempt. Is my point.
It's for someone with a
sinks,
little more
you can
experience.
I'm sure there's a bunch of things people you can get. Yeah,
Right.
for
I
sure.
see your point. I see your point. Fair point. All right. Moving on. Number 8.
Yeah.
Um, we have water purifiers, like water filtration systems, B2B or B2C. Now, this is one of those things. I actually got a low ticket dropshipping ad for like a water cleansing system for your feet, like a foot bath, and it was like the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. It showed like there was like a foot bath, and like you dip your feet in, and then the water turned like black, and it's like getting all the toxins out. Um, so it
Yeah.
seemed like a fabrication of what actually happens when you dip your feet in a foot bath. But anyway, I think water filtration in general, definitely something that in the global situation, I think people are going to be paying more attention to. I can't say specifically why because it's not really related, but I think cleanliness is next to godliness, and this could be
I
a
knew you
good
were gonna
one.
say that. Yeah, I think this would also be another hard one to get into. I think some of these could be particularly competitive, but that's just my opinion. I don't really know.
Well,
But even something like if you really wanted to do these water filters, um, there's probably different trade shows you can go to, and there's ways to get in with these. Because I mean, from what you're showing here, you have Pelican. Pelican's like a big company, right? Like the Pelican pool supply.
yeah, but there's
The
many
next one
more.
is like some huge. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you'd have to do some deep diving and see what you can get. But I think this would be another example of a bit of a high barrier to entry um, type niche. If you can get in, though, it's good. And if the
Well,
margins are good, then it's good.
well, let me. I mean, there actually is a lot more brands for water filtration than what you see on the screen. I took this screenshot to kind of illustrate water. Oh, whoops. Was I Googling stuff? Uh, to illustrate water filtration in general, not so much like, uh, not so much like just like one particular product. However,
Mm-hmm.
there's some stuff to think about here. What was I gonna say? I lost. So you can do like water filter, like a water fountain that filters the water. There's many different things that filter water other than just like a water filtration thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
I hear you, but I'm not aware of those types of things. But that's why you're supposed to do the research, like we tell you how to do it. Don't just search water filters and then see what comes up and then be like, oh, I can't do it. I'm sure you can dive deep and find some random things and go off of that, but
Yeah.
it might take some more deep dive. It's not like sinks. I'll tell you
Nah.
that.
All right. So you're really onto these sinks, huh? All
I
right.
am
So Mike, are you gonna like
about to start a sink store.
are you gonna talk down to this next idea here? I have a microwave kitchen cabinet, a kitchen cabinet where you can
I,
put a microwave right
I
into
looked
it.
ahead at this. I thought this was great.
Oh, this is the
I
one
wasn't going to talk down to it.
this is the one I expected you to hate the most.
Why?
I don't know.
I love every niche.
I thought you would think it's too
No,
generic.
um, I wouldn't make microwave cabinets R Us, but no, I mean, I think this is a perfect example of the type of thing that we talk about. Microwave cabinet. I'd never even heard of that until I saw this on the deck.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I
Um,
think the good price range are going to be
I mean,
between
that's,
1 and 2,000.
yeah, there's probably gonna be some cheap ones, bound to be, but no, this is I'm impressed with this one.
Cool. Cool. I'm glad you're impressed. All right, so we have the last one of the show, and we have lighting for your kitchen island. So we always talk about kitchen islands, but never the lighting for it. And I was surprised to see all sorts of weird, so many expensive and unique lamps, like hanging lighting fixtures for kitchen islands. And again, I think something you might see in, right above a marble kitchen table in the in one of my Russian friends' household. That's where you might see something like this.
This is going in the Russian store.
Yeah, for sure. How do you
Joe,
feel?
how would you well, before we get into that, how would you pronounce that second one on the top?
I am not saying that out loud. Cunts. Kuntz.
Kun's Kitchen?
Yeah, that's could be.
We're gonna get demonetized now because of this brand. So I think lighting is another one of those where you have a million different brands. And so I think if you can make an entire lighting store just devoted to like Russian lighting, and you can come up with a million different ways to go about it. Actually, what's funny is we talked about earlier how we had a supplier that also happened to sell range hoods. We had another supplier, and they were Russian, and they also happened to sell lighting.
Really?
And so I never saw any of their lighting products. We sold another thing. They're the ones in New Jersey, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Who
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah. When I called him and told him that we were selling our site that had the other products, he's like, "Well, I have lighting too if you want to sell that." So I never took him up on that, but there you go.
Yeah, maybe we should have took him up
lighting,
on it.
Lighting is an interesting one. Yeah, maybe we will.
Yeah, there's just
Lighting's an interesting one. I haven't seen many students try and I haven't really seen many people try and do it. I haven't looked into it too much either because it's kind of one of those generic things, almost like wall art.
Yeah.
But those things. I mean, you can make sales doing that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where like the sinks, there's just so many different things. It would be hard to it's almost like overwhelming to get into.
Yeah, I'm trying to search some of these other. I searched Cunt's Kitchen. Nothing came up. So I think that's not even the brand name. That's like the product type name. I think so. The brand is Everly Quinn.
Interesting.
So they sell a host of other furniture. I'm seeing. This actually might be a Wayfair brand. So Everly Quinn. I hope that's not the name of. We won't get into it.
Oh
But
my god.
yeah, I'm sure there's other suppliers that just sell lighting, and if you can get in with one of those, then I'm sure they have so many different types of lighting that you can just go into their price list. Take whatever weird thing they have, search it, see what sort of competitors come up, or like the other products that are on competing websites, and go down an entire rabbit hole from there.
Do you think anyone's gonna get that Everly Quinn joke?
I don't know. Who knows? No.
Well, I feel like
Maybe someone will eventually.
Yeah, just Google Wayfair conspiracy theory. I don't believe it. I think it's stupid, but stranger things have happened.
No. That's another members only Elite Fleet chat.
Okay. So we're at the end of our list of the top 10 best.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good video for us to make, Joe. It's relevant to high ticket. It's trending up. Sorry.
Yeah, we should.
Go on.
No, I was saying that's the end of the list. So we can get to the chat. If anyone has any questions, you guys can leave them in there, and we'll answer them.
Cool.
So would you Alex
I'll let
asked,
you read the chats because I don't want to lag.
Yeah. You're lagging a lot. Alex says, so would you recommend someone to make a store with an assortment of these products or just only sell hoods?
So we kind of touched on two different examples, Alex. We touched on some really big product types like lighting and sinks. So for those, I don't know how much of us you've watched, but we kind of talk about how we like to do sites that can sell a host of different things. But in those examples, it could be advantageous just to go after lighting or sinks because there's so many of those brands and products that you can just like hammer on those forever. But some of those other examples, like um, the garbage disposals or the fryers or those types of things, those are smaller markets. So you don't want to just do that. We like to make sites that are a little bit broader, but it allows us to go after a bunch of different small markets. So it just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah. He says, yeah, you kind of answered my question as the video went on. Nathan says, so like the example you gave earlier about discovering a supplier sell something near what you currently sell, would you advise adding that line of their products to your store? So he's saying, if you discover that you reach out to a supplier and they have a weird thing that you didn't expect, should you add it to your store? You certainly can, or you can put it on a different store. I mean, I think there really is no right or wrong answer here. And I think to go off of what Alex said, so to be very clear, well, I don't know if Mike would disagree with this or would agree. Mike, would you say we've had our most success with stores that are more niche down or stores that are more general?
Stores that are more general.
If you really think, I know we obviously advise our students one way of doing things, but I would say we've had a fair amount of success with stores that are niche down.
I don't know what you're referring to because the sites that we sold, right, Joe?
Yes.
One of them was pretty niche down, and that site we struggled the most with because we were not able to branch out with it. The other two sites, we were actually able to increase revenue and do things with them pretty quickly because of the breadth of different products that we can go and acquire suppliers for.
Yes, but I would
and that
also
was where sites wound up taking off because we were able to find different. Yeah.
But I would also say that, yeah, I mean, we definitely struggled to branch out with that first site. I think there was still more that we could have done. I mean, we really didn't put that much effort into it, first of all. And second of all, one of our main sites now is a niche down site. And I think it does pretty well.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
What? All right.
But the one that we bought?
No. The one that we made that's not like doing its best right now, but is still doing well.
Oh. Listen, I would advise someone to do a general site because there's so much more wiggle room for error. That one site that's slightly niche down, there's still a very wide variety of different suppliers and even like little product types and stuff like that. But
the point I'm trying to make here, Mike. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. The point I'm trying to make here is you're getting all excited over that.
Make your point.
You're getting all excited over that sync site, and I think it's a bit more advanced, and maybe we haven't gone. I guess you disagree that our one site that's more niche down is even niche down when I think it is, but I think you would agree. I think there is a more advanced play to making like a sync site like that, where you're niche down, you rank for a ton of keywords, and you really, really try and dominate the niche. Even going as far as making YouTube videos. We've seen examples of niche sites, niche dropshipping stores that have done really, really well, and you obviously just found one. So the point I'm trying to make is that I do think there's multiple ways to go about it and be successful at it, even though we might favor one over the other, and I think the reason that we favor one is just because in terms of executing it, it's a little bit easier than taking the extra steps to, ranking for a bunch of stuff, making YouTube videos, doing everything you need to dominate a niche down thing. But I still think it's in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's definitely in the realm of possibility, and I feel like we've talked about this. It is a more advanced thing to do, to make a sync site like that, and it's more of a commitment. And I think that it's dangerous for a new person to have to commit like that because they don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what they're getting into. So, I mean, even for us, like if we're doing a new site, we don't know exactly what we're getting into. So, yeah, I mean, I think you definitely have examples of niche sites doing well. They can do well, and you have opportunities for YouTube videos, for blogging content, stuff like that. But if we're talking about like the pure 80-20 of doing a dropshipping site, then I think just having a more general store and just going after suppliers, running the ads, just going through that process is so much more simplified, and it's so much quicker to get to 100,000 in sales, 200,000, just doing those basic things.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with you there. I think I'm in a frame of mind right now where I'm like all about like trying new things and experimenting, not like in life, but like in online business.
Yeah.
So a little bit off topic. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm throwing up websites left and right. I don't even. I'm like doing so much stuff, like experimenting with different online tactics right now, like outside of dropshipping. That I don't know. I guess that's the frame I'm in right now.
Yeah, and I think that's just a more advanced place to be. I mean, because we've already set up these things where, we're getting paid through our other sites, through the blog sites, through Kindle, stuff like that. So like, that's when you have the opportunities to go and try and blaze a new trail. If we're just talking about the easiest trail to go down, if someone says, "How do I make 100,000 in revenue next month?" then it's what we talked about on the show. Because doing the YouTube videos, stuff like that, it could be a huge waste of time if if you don't do it good, if it doesn't rank, like all these things can just result in it being a complete waste of time. Whereas acquiring a supplier is probably one of the things that is one of the most valuable things you can do. Usually it's always worthwhile, even if you don't use that supplier, because you can learn something from it. So, yeah, it's good to experiment, but the general stuff is what works. Yeah. And Joe, we've seen so many people fail doing the niche down stuff, and that's why we don't teach it, and that's why we talk bad about it.
True.
Because that's how people fail.
Yeah.
I've talked with so many people that they start up a dumb website about something, a dumb product type, and they can't get it off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget that sometimes we're speaking to beginners a lot of the time. So, I like to throw stuff out there, but Mike's right. If you're just starting off, Ethan Goudry says, "What exactly do you mean by a general store?" A general store is what you should stick with if you're just starting off. So it would be, instead of where Mike is going crazy over the sink site, a general store would be like a kitchen site. So, Nathan says, "Just reveal the stores already, LOL." Maybe we will one day. Are we going to reveal our real estate store soon? We might do a video on that.
Maybe we'll have them on the podcast.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun if they'll come on.
It'd be good.
Yeah.
That's a separate video.
Yeah. So Nathan says it's like spelling words in front of your kids so they don't know what you're saying. That's us trying to talk about the stores that we have. Yeah, kind of. And then Alex
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Alex says, ipso facto, Joe has the max WPX package. I don't know what ipso facto is, but yes, I do have the largest WPX package. I'm going to look up ipso facto.
Like case in point?
Oh.
regarding you experimenting.
Oh, Alex says real estate store, interesting. It's not so much. It's more like it's not a drop shipping store like we're talking about now. It's like we actually buy land and sell it on there, sell it online.
Yeah, it's kind of like drop shipping, but it's land, so it's just dirt.
Yeah.
It's like drop shipping dirt.
Yeah. Well, more like drop shipping deeds.
Yeah, that drop shipping paper.
Yeah. You're just moving paper, pieces of paper around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, once that takes off, that we'll talk about that more often. But we like to tell you guys about what works, what you can do that works, not just you know, talk about some ipso facto stuff.
But the people, I feel like people watch this stuff. Do they want to hear what works, or they just want to be entertained? Let us know in the chat, because I feel like a lot. I don't know. Because for example,
I think there's a little bit of both.
When I watch like a really like big YouTuber or whatever, like in the internet marketing space, I mean, maybe it's just me that recognizes it as this, but I feel like it's just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's very we try and bring as much value as possible, but it kind of perplexes me that there's like so much of what the big people focus on is like entertainment. Like, I watched a video of Dan Lok doing Wing Chun on the dummy. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't watching Gary Vee for the deep insights.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe they think they are.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think when it comes down to being, successful at something, you actually have to learn the really detailed nitty gritty stuff of whatever it is you're trying to do. And there's usually only a few entry points into that. Like, you can't really find that in a book. Like a book to me is more entertainment, but also, it's more like up here. It's like mindset, higher level thinking type things that affect how you execute on the minor details. But you still need to learn the minor details. Something like a textbook would be where you learn the minor details. People don't read textbooks for entertainment. So I would agree. People definitely gravitate more towards entertainment, even if you look at the media and just that industry. But there is a time for the very detailed things. So I don't know. I think we go back and forth, climb the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, the media.
I think this was more of a. What's that?
I think this was a value-packed episode, but yeah, no, I didn't really even think about it. How Dan Lok doing Wing Chun on a dummy is like related to the media, like how it just is skewed towards entertainment rather than like information. But it really is the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good to have a mix.
Yeah.
But even this is still, this is good for getting an idea of like stuff that you can do, and it has value to it. But you would still need our course most likely to actually get the fine-tuned details of how to go about each step. So, is there a point to making these episodes? I don't know. You can let us know, listener. Should we just make Wing Chun videos? Plus, Joe doing triangle chokes on the jiu-jitsu dummy.
Oh man. All right. So we're about at the 50-minute mark. We usually go for 10 more minutes. Not really sure what else there is to talk about. So we can maybe start saying the
Show them an ad. I'm just kidding.
Show them an ad. Leave some. Listen, guys, we're out in 10 minutes, so leave some more questions if you want to. If you want that to get answered.
Ew.
So I want to talk about some of the, I guess I'll
I'll
talk
give
about
it another
some of
minute.
the new stuff that we're doing on, or at least that I'm experimenting with. It's going to take a while to come to fruition, but I guess I'll talk about it. So if you guys go back and watch some of our older episodes, like the income reports and stuff, we talk about like how we're making money with ClickBank and different types of different monetizations of our blogs and stuff like that. Um, so Soul Vibes Media says review. We're not going to review the products again. You can just go watch the episode again once the stream ends, or like refresh. I don't know how to refresh it or something, but when it ends, you'll get to see all the products again. Um, so yeah, when I realized that blog site we had that's making like I think 2,000 a month now or more, when I realized that we were able to do that with like a 60-page blog site with no backlinks, making money on ClickBank, I think it really opened my eyes to the true potential of different types of blogs you can make. And so right now, I'm just planting a lot of seeds. Designed. I didn't develop it, but I worked with the developer to design a game, like a web game. It's just gonna be like a one page site. Maybe it'll have some supporting pages. Going for a huge keyword. I'm gonna try and rank that in Google, and just have like one ad spot for it. Because people spend. It's like a card game, so people will spend like probably up to an hour on the site just playing. So, just have one rotating ad or whatever. But I just noticed that there are sites like ranking for that keyword, like play this card game that have no backlinks. So I figured, hey, if I create a game and I build some backlinks to it, I can rank for that too. And just throwing up all sorts of different like low competition sites just to get them up there, get the traffic going, throw some ads on it. It's just a different asset. I'm kind of viewing the blog sites kind of the way we view like the Kindle books, like the crossword Kindle books, just a bunch of mini assets popping up. And it does stem from what Alex says, because when I had to, in one of our blog partnerships with someone we're working with right now, I had to upgrade our WPX package. So I went from having 15 available site slots to 35. So I feel like I got to fill all those up.
Yeah, and it's good once you actually, because I mean, you spent years figuring this stuff all out, and so now you can just look at different keywords, and you can just kind of look at the market, and it's an economies of scale type thing. We have a writer, we have kind of the wherewithal to hire a developer to do a quick job if we need to. So it's really a perfect example of something that's pretty simple, like a small site, but it's come with just all these little experiences that we've had through the ClickBank site and everything else. Um, yeah, you're at the point where we can experiment, which is good.
Yeah.
Joe dreams and keywords, Alex said. I don't know if you saw my email last night, Alex, but Joe literally does do that.
Yeah. I feel like we're not, I mean, I'm kind of like, I feel like we're not, I want to be making like 30, 40,000, 100,000 a month off this stuff. Or at least, I guess, 20,000 would be a good short-term goal. But once we're there, I'll be a little more satisfied with all the blog sites.
Hmm.
So how much does it cost you to plant one of those seeds, like low competition blog sites? It really depends on the site. I mean, so I made a one-page site, and I think it got crushed. Like it still gets traffic and it ranks for the main keyword. Doesn't get that much traffic, but it can be a wide range. I mean, you can literally like that the site that's making $2,000 a month on ClickBank now. If I were to had that site written, although it was a partnership, so the writer wrote it for free for us, so it was free. But if I were to have that written, say it was her writing is really really high quality, but say you were to buy like high quality writing like that, it'd probably be like $100 an article, which is really expensive. Times 60, so maybe $6,000. Every all in all, but that's if you don't always have to do it super high quality. Writing can range anywhere from $30 to $20 an article to $100 an article. So I was really going on the high end. But it's really about planting the seed, like just maybe starting with one article a week and seeing where it goes, because you got to wait 6 months, 8 months anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this isn't something for a new person to do because it's going to take just too long to actually get feedback on it. But for us, it's worth just kind of throwing some things out and seeing what happens, especially because we can kind of do things a bit more. We're not just throwing things into the wind; it's kind of planned out.
Yeah. All right, listen, let's wrap it up, guys. Buildassetsonline.com slash. Let me see. What if I go to the live screen? Boom! Look at that. I changed the overlay, and now it's perfect. Buildassetsonline.com/asset for our dropshipping course. Work with us one-on-one at buildassetsonline.com/membership. Grab our free course at buildassetsonline.com/playbook. And grab our Kindle publishing course at buildassetsonline.com/publish. And Alex, I mean, look, if you're totally broke and you do want to start a blog, you can check out our free blog course, buildassetsonline.com/blast, the BAO blog blast off. Just, if you want to write it yourself, you can get it off the ground for free. So that's it.
Perfect. Yeah. Don't forget, membership goes up at the end of this month. We're in July right now, 2020. So take advantage of that if you're not in it. And that's about it. Take it easy.